What if some of your most vivid memories never actually happened? A laugh you swore you've shared, a book you're certain you've read, all proven false. This is the Mandela effect. Some point to parallel universes, but neuroscience tells a more unsettling truth. Memory isn't a record of the past, it's a reconstruction. Each recall reshapes the story, bending and blurring details until fiction feels real. If our memories can lie so easily, what does that mean for truth, for identity, for who we really are? Research from Yale and the National Institutes of Health has shown that both true and false memories activate overlapping regions of the brain, particularly the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. In other words, the brain uses the same pathways to reconstruct a real event as it does a false one. That's why a false memory doesn't feel false, and it feels vivid, detailed, true. Memory distortion due to misinformation has been linked to faulty reconstructive processes during memory retrieval and the reactivation of brain regions involved in the initial encoding of misleading details, cortical reinstatement. Studies by cognitive scientists like Elizabeth Loftus at UC Irvine show how easily these errors can spread. A suggestion, a leading question, or even hearing others recall an event a certain way can implant an entirely new memory in our minds. This is called the misinformation effect. It's the same psychological process that underlies courtroom errors, mistaken eyewitness accounts, and on a larger scale, cultural memory shifts like the Mandela effect. Let's take a quick look at some famous Mandela effects. What started it all, Nelson Mandela himself, many recall he died in the 1980s in prison, when he actually passed in 2013. Luke, I am your father. But actually, Darth Vader says,
No, I am your father.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. But in Snow White, the line is,
Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
Febreze. But many remember it as Febreze, but the correct spelling is Febreze. The Karate Kid headband black lotus flower, but many still remember it as the red rising sun. Fruit of the Loom logo, some remember a cornucopia behind the fruits, but there never was one. Looney Tunes, often remembered as Looney Tunes, but it's tunes. Neuroscientists at MIT demonstrated that false memories can be artificially implanted in mice using optogenetics. They manipulated engrams and showed that both true and false memories activated similar neural circuits. This provides direct biological evidence that the brain does not strictly separate real from false memories, highlighting why Mandela effect recollections feel just as vivid as genuine ones. What's more, psychologist Daniel Schachter calls these flaws the 7 sins of memory and bias, suggestibility, misattribution, and others that explain why human memory bends, reshapes, and sometimes fabricates entirely. If memory is this malleable, what does that say about truth itself? We often think of memory as the foundation of our identity. After all, who are we, if not the sum of our experiences? Yet if our memories can be rewritten, and if whole moments can be invented, then our identity is less like stone, and more like water. It flows, it bends, it reshapes itself with each recollection. The Mandela effect, then, isn't just about cartoon bears or famous quotes. It's about confronting the fragile line between reality and perception. It's about realizing that the mind does not simply store reality, it creates it. The Mandela effect reminds us that truth is not always as stable as we believe. Memory is not a window into the past, but a mirror, reflecting not just what was, but what our minds believe should have been. So the next time you swear you remember something differently, pause and ask yourself, is the universe changing, or is it me? Start your chapter or become an individual global member today at nstem.org.